What's up, everyone? I'm Giovanni Busto, PopBlitz.com, here alongside of Anthony Smith for another episode of The Cut. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is a pleasure to be back again this week for episode number 6. We are getting strong and moving right along in this process of The Cut, and I'm super excited. Who would have known? 6 episodes. That's something to celebrate.
It is. It is. Going to have plenty more. And
yes.
So look, in getting started, something happened, a little situation happened yesterday regarding this first topic that I wanted to address. As I mentioned before, I do another show for Breitbart. Did she say that with Sonny Johnson as the host? I showed up half prepared for this topic yesterday, and I got dragged. When I say I got dragged, I was dragged all over the show for about 2/3 of a 1-hour show and almost into the third segment. So here's the story. Lavar Ball's son is about to go pro. And I've heard nothing but reports of him threatening to beat up the poor white reporter, Christine Leahy. He told her to stay in her lane when she asked how many shoes his son had sold. And he said he was being an overprotective father, completely ignoring the fact that Lavar Ball, I would describe the situation as saying that he just didn't want to have his son taken advantage of by the industry. He designed his own shoe, said fuck Nike, he created his own athletic company, and when the little white reporter said what he could do to appeal to more people, he told her to mind her business. As I see it, black men are damned if we do, damned if we don't. First, the argument was if there's no father in the house, we're beat up for that. And if there is one and he stands up for his son to make sure he's successful, they're overbearing and overprotective. The media basically crapped all over Lavar Ball's name for what I think was him basically being a good father. And Anthony, when I first went over this topic, my first reaction was I was ready to completely rip him a new one before I'd actually been presented all the facts. And as I said, this really didn't end so well for me yesterday. I mean, she basically lit into me the whole show. All I could do is sit there, laugh, and take it. Her point was, if you're a capitalist, someone who is for business and for making money, how do you knock the man for trying to have his hustle and basically not being pocket raped along the way? And so some people doubted him, doubted his business decisions, and he told them where to get off at. Because remember, Lavar Ball's been around for a while. He was a successful NBA player, so that pretty much gives him the right to tell people, this is my son, this is our money, this is what we're going to do, and I don't care who doesn't like it. What was your take on the situation?
I think that, the media always does things to make that person look like they are just some crazy, delusional person, and they edit it really damn good. So, we're not seeing the full reason why he's reacting the way that he's been reacting. But if they want to create their own damn shoe, let them do it. Like, why are we, giving this guy such a hard time about a vision? We never know. This vision that he has might actually pop off, and it might be something. He might be headed in the right direction. He could be setting the trend for other, players that are, or whoever that gets contracts with major shoe companies. He might be setting the trend for them to actually venture out and do their own damn thing.
And, I wanted to add that when I first looked at all the reports about this, all the stories were basically about him flipping out. And what he told Christine Leahy was that, when you talk to me any kind of way, look, and he said, and I quote, you're going to have something coming to you. So she went and said that she felt threatened. This big black man threatened her. She felt physically threatened. And mind you, when this happened, I don't believe at any point they were ever actually sitting next to each other. He was sitting in the studio, and she was sitting like in some glass booth. So he couldn't have possibly gotten to her if he wanted to. And the reason why he's being disrespectful to her, she had, before the show before he came on, she was talking shit about him behind glass, which is the other part, not just talking shit, but behind glass. You couldn't get to you if you wanted to.
Right.
So she pretty much asked for it. And Charlemagne from Power 105, from the Breakfast Club, he said that this is exactly how Emmett Till, how that situation started. How, the little white girl cried wolf, and everyone believed it.
Right.
But see, as far as him making this shoe, out of all the reports, no one mentioned that the brand that the shoe was under, like it was something I didn't, or whoever made it, I never heard of it. No one really mentioned that he created it. So they made it sound like she was giving advice, about his shoe endorsement deal, like it was Nike or something, but no one gave him credit for creating his own shoe. Like, that's actually a really big deal.
It is.
I mean, it's nice to be tied to Nike or something, but like that's an actual accomplishment.
Can I ask the question though? And
yes.
I don't know if it's so much a question, but like, okay, so he wants to create his own shoe. He needs to get credit for actually creating their own shoe, the design, etc. But is it so? If they're going to come down on him so hard about creating his own shoe, let's go back and think about our other shoe designers that make shoes that are not on Nike platform. We have, man shoes that are made by Coach, and we have man shoes that are made by Michael Kors, and there's Encore Fieso. It's an Italian designer that doesn't get as much, clout that other Italian shoe designers get. But all these people ventured out and did their own thing. They started somewhere and said, you know what, I can do it on my own. People are creating shoes every day, so I don't get what the big deal is. Is it just, you need to go ahead and follow this endorsement with Nike? But have we heard the numbers? Do we know what Nike is paying them? Why does he feel that he's going to get screwed over? That's my question. Like, what is his reasoning?
The chances are, that's generally what happens. These endorsement deals tend to, when they pick these players, they tend to pick those who come out of poverty because, they'll accept whatever deal they're going to get. They're most likely not going to get what they're worth. That's always the case. You hear, the singing groups Escape, Tony Braxton, they all go through that same situation. If you pick somebody up out of the hood who didn't have anything, they're going to accept whatever. You have no incentive to do otherwise. And LeVar Ball was saying that, hey, he raised his son right. He came up with money. He doesn't have to accept anything. And he doesn't care. His LeVar Ball's son is not, which I can't think of his name, I'm sorry. He's not, I think it's Lonzo. He's not starving, he's not poor. But he's also not Michael Jordan. He's not Kobe Bryant. So he's not going to get top dollar anyway. He'll get the shoe, but they're 100% going to absolutely rape his pockets when it comes to giving him his money in return. It's probably going to be a situation of, them making $1 million and you getting $100,000 or something like that.
Right. And see, that's the issue. And I don't think that what he's doing is wrong. I think that, let's just say that.
But it's his mouth, and it's we like to create this angry black man narrative. And the sad part is that it's us doing it to each other because we're the ones sitting back, pointing and laughing. Which that was my initial reaction. When I read, I was like, why is he threatening people? What's what's all this craziness about, all these comments? And a lot of reporters were saying that he's kind of spiking the ball on this one. They said, because what if the one team that he wanted him on, I think the Lakers, what if they didn't take him? Well, there were others that were interested in him. They were saying, well, what if his son's not quite as good as he thinks he is? Either way, he still made it known that you all aren't going to make money off of my son's name. And I think that that's a pretty commendable thing. And just lastly, one little interesting narrative about this is for the Emmett Till comparison. I feel like I've beaten this one into the ground. I'm going to leave it. I think I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave it alone.
No, you have. I mean, you have valid points, and I think that us black men have this aggression about them. We're easily to get offensive immediately, and I think that some of us just need to know how to control our tempers and how we react to certain situations. And I'm always told is never let them see you react to their level, because if you do, then it ends up you looking like the fool, you looking like you lost your cool, and then now the media is saying, oh, crazy, threatens your life, be aware. And it doesn't look good. It's not good publicity for him right now when he's in the process of trying to get his first shoe out on the market, So, I mean, granted, if they're saying something that is disrespectful or whatever the situation is, there's a way to kill him with the kindness, and there's a way to respond back to it. And maybe, I'll eat my own words. I mean, I can't say that I'm innocent in that, because people have said things to me, and I've been ready to rip their damn heads off their shoulders. So, I mean, hey. So,
yes.
I guess you just have to know how to turn it off and on.
And I've had it on my mind. I kept saying I wasn't going to go there. I was trying to remember how this went. Just to repeat the story that Sonny had mentioned. The interesting part was that Charlamagne said that that for Christine Leahy to talk about feeling that she was being physically threatened and comparing that to Emmett Till, that's kind of interesting because as I recall, if he's calling her, the white reporter, a liar, basically, saying that, nobody's threatening you. You just do that for attention, whatever. You don't play with the big boys. This is what you deal with. You talk shit about him before he came in the door, you deal with it.
Right.
Shouldn't have opened your mouth otherwise.
Right,
but
right.
Just kind of an interesting part is that during the election last year, I remember Hillary Clinton had on her website that she said that women who claim to have been assaulted should be believed. So with that logic, if Charlamagne, who was a Hillary supporter, believes what Hillary said, that all women who were assaulted or, who make an accusation should be believed, then shouldn't we believe the white girl who said that she was being physically threatened, who you just admitted to lying? Just notice a little hypocrisy there. I'm just saying. But anyway.
True. I mean, but not everyone is going to be a victim all the time. They may use that victim card just to make themselves look good. So that's a hard question to answer. It's a hard question to really back up because not everyone is attacked that way. And sometimes they make shit up just to, get attention. So how do you, determine if it's actually true or if it's not true? How do you determine that? And you know what I mean?
You mentioned it's hard to prove, and hey, it's a hole in the argument. It's not any truth to it because at the end of the day, like that statement that I just used an example was removed from her website when Trump brought up her husband's accusers. It was like, oh, oops, yeah, that kind of happened. Never mind. All right, so look, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I have officially beaten it into oblivion. Moving on, this next one's interesting. there's such thing as Black Twitter, and that is where all the best joke responses to things that happen in mainstream media can be found. Time and time again, we find our jokes and memes landing in commercials, corporate ads, like the guy who made the song sing about Patti LaBelle's pies, and people said they felt that she owed him some commission from the pie sales for promoting it. Well, BET is teaming up with Twitter to do a study on Black Twitter. All I'm going to say is, everybody lock your Twitter accounts. And if you have any amount of a large following, you better find a way to make money off of it, because I guarantee you there's some executive out there waiting to profit off of your idea, and this is evidence of it. So this Black Twitter study.
Black Twitter. Know that it existed.
You said you didn't?
I didn't. I mean, I didn't know that we had this. Wait a minute. So this is going to.
I can tell. You know, you don't tweet that much. That's.
No.
Dude.
I really don't. I may say one or two things on Twitter, and that's like it for weeks. And then back. I mean, in the beginning when I was with the label and I was doing shows and traveling and touring or whatever, I used Twitter like every damn day. There was no. There was no. You couldn't tell me not to be on Twitter. I was on there all day, and I was telling you my life story. Now I'm like too busy being pretty boy on Snapchat and posting my life on Instagram and doing live shows on Facebook. So I don't have time for Twitter. Too much damn social media. I'm going to have a social media meltdown. But anyways, yeah, I'm not posting on Twitter.
I'm surprised you didn't know that. I mean, well, here's the thing. I feel like we have a monopoly on Twitter. So after every award show, after most major events, all of the best jokes always tend to be from a Black person. All of these memes, I see it time and time again. Like Thanksgiving, as an example. There was hashtag Thanksgiving clapback. I'm trying to think of one of them that I posted, where Grandma said, you just can't live without that technology, can you? And the response was, that you can't live without that oxygen tank, though? Hashtag Thanksgiving clapback. And there were all these articles keeping up with or naming all of those clapbacks. All of that was Black Twitter. McDonald's has used some of our jokes in commercials. Like, we're always seeing it. And so just what I learned years ago by hanging on Twitter quite a bit back in like 2009, I said that, I'm not doing this for my health. I have always tried to find ways to monetize my social media. And our culture has always been hijacked by others. And for those who feel like it's a conspiracy theory, this is actual proof that it's not. I mean, they're actually doing a study on us, and as I said, I mean, if you have any type of decent following, don't let anyone take your ideas. Go create a website, something.
Capitalize on your funniness and your talents, because somebody done saw that just got value to it, and they coming for it. They coming to get it. Better hurry up and lock it down. See, now we know why I don't be posting nothing on Twitter. Because, I happen to...
You're no fun.
I have some funny things, I have some funny things. I mean, when I do post on Twitter, sometimes I get hits, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I'm talking about.
Hit and miss, yeah.
I think I have more fun on Snapchat and Instagram and, Facebook, if that makes any sense.
Here's the thing. Remember Kimberly Ellis from Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
Yes.
Yeah, the wife that got drug out of the house when she wouldn't get out. She did a South by Southwest panel a couple years ago on Black Twitter. I've never known her to do very much social media, but bam, we're obviously a thing, and enough of a thing to have a major panel on. That's like one of the biggest cultural events of the year, Southwest. And we have a lot of accomplishments for us banding together as Black Twitter. One of the jurors from the George Zimmerman trial wanted to put out a book defending George Zimmerman, and Black Twitter put a stop to it. Russell Simmons, I don't know what possessed him to do this, but on his website he made some type of a Harriet Tubman sex tape parody joke video, which that just doesn't sound funny.
It does.
And after he posted it, Black Twitter was like, "Oh, nah, bro, no, this is not gonna work. Nope, take it down." Everybody came together. He made a statement. He apologized, and took it down. And my synopsis of Black Twitter is, just with everything else, we apparently have seemingly, I can't think of any other major group that's on Twitter. We've essentially taken over the pop culture portion of that. All the issues that we have in our community, we can come together to solve them. We apparently have all the resources. We just have to use it towards a productive goal. All this cultural talent, there's a lot that we could do with it, be it production companies, media companies. It's plenty of talent. And I tend to scout talent a lot because I'm always looking for new people to cover. This stuff is freaking hilarious. I was just doing like a Google image search of Black Twitter. I was like, this is amazing. So I'm just saying, use our forces for good.
It is definitely amazing. And I would say this, I do have a lot of celebrity followers and me following on Twitter. And I would say that when I want to interview a celebrity that I'm a fan of, that is a Black celebrity, I would go to Twitter and I will tweet them personally to their page. And I have never had a failed response from one of those celebrities that I wanted to interview. And it's either the publicist replying back or it's the celebrity themselves.
Well, I'm kind of jealous. You said that you've never had a failed response. As someone who sits around and writes media pitches all day long, shoot. I have a great response rate. Almost all of my work over the last, say, 5-6 years has come from social media, a good amount of it. But yeah, you got a little bit of better return rate than I do.
Well, most of my interviews I've gotten, almost all of them. Rodney Perry, Lady Saw, Brandy, Ray J, Trina Braxton, Tracy Braxton, all of those interviews that and even Kiki Wyatt, but she was a little, I love her. I don't want to say she was.
I love her too. You got her teamed in.
I got her manager.
I love her.
People on the phone, and she was doing some Coco Cockamamie stuff, and and that did not fly over well. We ended up not being able to do that interview, even though it was scheduled. Even Kim Burrell, she is something else, She sure is. Was this before pronouncing gays to death? Yes, throwing us in hell. You know that lady, and I'm not throwing no shade your way, Miss Burrell, but I have to tell the world what you did to me. She got me on the phone at 6 a.m. No, it was not 6. It was like 4 or 5 a.m.
Ooh.
She was Kim Burrell. She was taping.
No, it's going woo, yeah.
Had me up early, and I'm just waiting. Never got on the phone. Her person gets on. She's busy. We're going to have to reschedule. I said, what? I was like, you had me waiting all this damn time, and she ain't coming on the phone. Were you, waiting on the phone with them? I was waiting. They kept saying, hold on.
Oh, God.
Busy to get on the talk to me. So then they rescheduled for another day. I went back again to do the interview another day, and she did the same thing. So I sent her a little Twitter, and I'll leave it at that.
You know, like, as a communications person, that's supposed to be my job, communicating with people. But I mean, I'm human, and I just have to admit, I really do not like. I don't like professing it. I just don't always. I'm trying to think of a nice way of putting it. I don't really like dealing with artists. You know, a lot of these people are flakes. You know, I don't have the patience for it with these diva attitudes. Folks who think they're a little bit more special than what they are, ungrateful people, all that good stuff. But I have a love-hate relationship with industry. It is what it is. But it's stuff like that, you know, that just tries my spirit. And I'm a little older and mature, but listen, I mean, back in the day, I could write a note now. I could write an email. Right. If I showed you some of the stuff that I've written to people, and some of them have come back, like a few emails from 2005 have come back to me in recent years. That's how epic they were.
Now, you're a cutthroat.
Called them a little bit everything, but a child of God absolutely did.
Ooh.
Told them what I wasn't going to take. I left the production team of mine, and when I tell you that, how many years ago was this? 10, 11 years ago? That I didn't just burn the bridge, that I blew the bitch up? I was like, I mean, at one point, I think my former business partner was like, hey, I don't have time for all this. He said, I have a life. And I said, hey, I didn't ask you that. This is all you already. I said, you started this. Okay, I'm not finished. I don't care what you don't have time for.
Wow. Well,
blew up. People were writing me. I think I wrote like one mass email at like 19, and people were responding saying, I really don't think you should say that. You might want to rethink that. Bonnie, that could be slander. Well, I was like, nope, it needs to be said. Nope. I've grown up. I've matured since then.
Well, it's still in you, though. It's still there waiting to call.
Well, I can. And while we were talking about Twitter, I can pop off now. I'm gonna leave the topic of Twitter alone. The last presidential election back in 2012, I was involved heavily on a local level in D.C. And there was a woman who had, and I think you liked the post, you saw it. This woman lost her election and had a nervous breakdown. But the woman was crazy, but she was not crazy enough to come back. I mean, she was crazy, but apparently not too crazy, because she came back on Twitter, revived a 4 or 5-year-old beef, and roasted me for like a whole 8 hours on Twitter, calling me a little bit of everything. Every name in the book. She was talking about beating my ass. I was like, you know what? Come do it. Come beat my ass. I'd like to see you do it. And when you get to D.C., I'll pay for the Uber. I felt bad afterwards. I had to delete all my comments. I think at one point, what did she tell me? She was like, well, Vonnie, where your fans at? I said, but where your kids, though? That's not nice. I know. Her children were taken away in the process. And I've asked God for forgiveness. And I think that's enough of the Twitter topic.
Right. Let's close that door.
It was ugly.
It's raining outside.
Ugly, but you know, and as ugly and nasty as it got, like in the middle of the argument, I see, you know what? I said, I like her. She can read. None of it was for her, and was ready. Nothing like a good old read and spell.
Wow.
Like, I met my match today.
Was she black? White?
She's black.
Oh, wow.
Okay, some of black Twitter's finest that day.
Ooh. Damn, she went in. That's crazy. Well, social media is what people do. Now, I will say this about Twitter, and then I definitely will close the door. I don't go on and I don't attack people on Twitter. I just attack large corporations on Twitter.
I aspire to reach that level of maturity. I'm not there yet, because I try, and then, I slip up, and then people start sending me screenshots of my comments. Like, attorneys will write me and ask me to remove stuff, and I'll write them and say, okay, yes, I'll take it down, and then I go and trash them on Twitter, and then they go send me a screenshot and say, you sure were nice by email, but you sure are saying a lot of stuff on Twitter. I'm going to use these screenshots in court. Yes, that happened. Trey Songz's brother, Forrest Tucker's attorney, did that with me repeatedly. And at one point he got on my nerves so bad, I said, you know what? And you can I was just writing on Twitter because I knew he was reading it. I said, you could take this and screenshot that and use that in court.
I remember going on Twitter, and I just went ham on AT&T. They had just came out to my home, set up all.
What year?
This was back in 2015, maybe. Maybe 2015.
Okay.
And there was an issue that was happening where what did they do?
Is it Uverse?
Was it Uverse? No.
What were they doing in your house? Because only thing I'm aware of them having is like the Uverse cable.
No, they have internet. They have internet down here in Atlanta.
Okay.
They have the internet, and they have. I don't think there's a Uverse. Is there a Uverse?
I thought that's what it was. I've only read about it, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, anyways, they put that shit in my house. Garbage.
I left AT&T I actually left them in 2015.
Yeah.
They did not have unlimited data at the time.
No.
And I left. And I turn on television now, and now they have it. After I used to pay $200. My bill was $220 for an iPhone and an iPad. And no one would understand why I paid that much. And I said I only did it because it worked. And I stopped paying it when it stopped working. That is really a ridiculous bill for one human being to have.
They've been fucking people over for years now on that limited data crap, and I guess finally they decide. Let me tell you, they get sued every damn day. So they must have got sued about that data shit. And
I knew they would. Just as far as the market goes and competition, I knew they'd find a way to do it at some point in time. But they were. I joined AT&T back in 2010. Before. While iPhone was still locked into AT&T, the network was kind of bad then. Like, my reception was great, but I just had all these dropped calls. You remember that?
Yeah. I had them back in that time frame.
That was bad. That was really bad. I was like, I couldn't catch a break. I had T-Mobile, which was terrible. I had Sprint, terrible. AT&T, great reception. If I can call going for 5 minutes, I'd be good.
It was horrible too. But no, they put this
Go ahead.
in my house, and it was just a mess. And my cousin was staying here with me, Arkeem. He was staying here at my house, and he downloaded something from off this stuff that you download stuff off of. And I come home, and I get this email in my inbox, and it's like, fraud.
Oh.
What the fuck is this? And it's got like AT&T, and my shit's all locked down. I can't get online.
Really?
All I can do is check the email, and it says, downloaded such and such, and IP address, and if this happens again, you will have suspended internet usage for 1 year. I said, excuse me?
What? Wait a minute, a fraud. Now, you know, I draw the line with stuff like that. You're not gonna be accusing me of no goddamn fraud, okay? I draw the line with breaking the law. You hear me say that all the damn time. You're not gonna accuse me of doing nothing that's fucking illegal. I draw the line. But what did he do? Was it like something large he downloaded or something?
He downloaded, I think it was a song. I think he downloaded a song. And
what was it, illegal or something? Like
it was a free song that
I've never heard of anyone getting a message like that about fraud.
AT&T did it, and they said that my internet service would be suspended for a year. I was livid. I called them.
But I'm trying to figure what is fraudulent. Like, what happened?
I guess they were saying because you're illegally downloading music, and they don't know how to determine if the song was free or if it was
that's too much. That is too much. I have never heard of anything like that. That is ridiculous.
I was like, why are you...
Let me get a message like that, okay? Let me get that.
Needless to say, I called AT&T, and somebody...
Bitch, who you accusing of breaking the damn law?
Right, exactly. Somebody's grandmother, if you are listening right now, my sincerest apologies for cursing you out the way I did that day. I did not mean to do that. I was highly upset.
Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing to apologize for. No.
That's that lady. Let me tell you what she told me. She was like, "Well, you do know that you should have not downloaded this music. It is definitely a big thing right now." And da 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 da. I said, "Lady, let me tell you something."
Like, do they have a contract with like a music company or something? That's stupid.
No, that's the thing. I was like, I pay you guys. I don't think it was like $150 or something a month for cable and everything in my damn house. And I was like, what you will not do is tell me what I can and cannot do on my damn computer. I was like, that is just invading my privacy. You are up in my fucking computer. This is exactly what I said to them, looking at my shit. And I was like, I don't know what else y'all was looking at. Probably getting off to my damn pictures that I have on there, too. And I was like, there you go. And I said,
no, you didn't.
Tell me what I can and cannot download. I said, you tell them to come out here and get all this damn shit out of my house right now today before I blow it up. And she was
that could have been a good viral opportunity. Go packing it up, just like I told you how I said with Comcast. Go pack it up, or just walk outside with it all in your arms and just throw the shit in the driveway and leave it there.
And leave it right there.
Sorry.
Look, she hung up on me, so I took that shit to Twitter, and I was cursing their ass out and telling people how they were the devil and the Antichrist, and I was saying
they deserved it.
I was like, they were just evil, robbing people and lies and making people have heart attacks. I went ham on their ass. So then I get a message or email on Twitter from AT&T. It was like their corporate customer complaint office or some BS. And it was like, what can we do to solve this issue? What can we do? I was like, first of all, y'all invaded my privacy by going into my computer and telling me they knew the song, what it was downloaded from, and everything. So that means what? They were looking into your damn computer. Like they had to be paying people to do this. And
I'll say that, I mean, just to interject, just because I'm being an ass, I mean, it's not so much necessarily going into the computer. I mean, they can look at, like, the sites that you've been to, and maybe they've determined one is being illegal. I mean, so, like, the data streams, excuse me, you know, as far as what you're looking at and downloading, it's similar to what they do in an office environment. How they can track every last website that you've been to. And at some point, you know, just notice that whatever they had, you know, just one of the sites that they disagree with, they notice that you went there and called it fraudulent. I've just never actually heard of that happening. I mean, people do all types of ridiculous shit every day at home. So, I mean, that's really a first.
If I can find that damn email, I will gladly post it.
Yes, please. I want to see that.
And I was livid with their ass. Anyways, needless to say, after I got done threatening the corporate lady at the corporate office, I ended up receiving a $350 gift Visa card from them.
Good.
And I went shopping on AT&T. Thank you, baby. But anyways, I no longer have AT&T. I am back with the second Antichrist group, Comcast. And I only have internet with them because I have masterminded a way to get TV without having to pay the cable companies your arm, your leg, and sometimes occasionally your ass. So, yeah. And if you want to find out how you can do that, you can hit me up on social media and I can tell you. But, yeah, so definitely AT&T is the devil. T-Mobile should just sit down and figure out their whole entire network because they are all about the drop calls. Like, the phones might be pretty, but your calls ain't doing it. It's just drop, 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 drop. So
you know, I told you I've had 3 or 4 services, and I had T-Mobile back in 2004, and it was terrible then. I had AT&T up until 2015, and I was having, a drop call issue then, but I went back to T-Mobile, and I've actually had this is actually the best reception I've had in years, and my bill is half of what it was before. So I feel like, it possibly depends on the area. I mean, I have, I live in a building that's a cement structure, so they had to give me this reception booster inside of my place, and I think there's kind of like a tiny dead spot in the middle of the hall on my side of the building, so sometimes I cross it and have to, every now and then hang up and call the person back if I walk them to do on the phone. But it's actually been great. I have not been happier. Phone service. So I'm sorry that, we have opposite experiences, but,
I mean, it depends because do you stay in a high rise?
Yes.
So the higher the floor that you get on, like my home is 2 stories. So when I had T-Mobile when I first relocated here to Georgia, and I was and I got this house, and I was downstairs in the kitchen, my reception with T-Mobile was blah. There was no tower signal, nothing. The phone didn't even work at all.
But, I mean, have you ever had those reception boosters you connect to your modem or cable modem?
No. No, I've never.
Those are very helpful. I mean, I swear by them. I've had multiple ones. I've had one with Sprint, and I had another with I had one with AT&T and another with T-Mobile. It helps for those dead spots in your house.
Downstairs in my excuse me.
Because it runs your reception off of your cable modem. So while you're at home, you should have decent reception. Because when I first came in this apartment, my reception really sucked. But the booster made it perfect. I have absolutely no issues at home with it. And they'll give it to you for free. If you call and complain about having issues, I've never had to pay for one, but they do charge for it.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, let me look into it right now. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, with Verizon. Can you hear me now? And yes, I can. So let's move on. I don't want to sit here and give
Go ahead.
marketing credits, but yeah. So what else do you got?
I think that was it for me. I think I'll probably look and discover otherwise later. But what about you? I know you had a few things.
Yeah, I got a couple things that I kind of wanted to talk about. Right now, I definitely want to send my prayers out to the families and the individuals that lost their lives at Ariana Grande's concert in Manchester, definitely it's devastating to even know that has happened, and definitely my prayers are out for those families.
Did you see, before we go on, did you see there was a reporter or this writer a freelance writer who writes for CBS, who made some ugly comment joke about what happened? Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Let me see if I can repeat what he said. His comments, multiple confirmed fatalities. His name is David Leavitt, and they need to leave his writing alone. He said, multiple confirmed fatalities in Manchester Arena. The last time I listened to Ariana Grande, I almost died too. And he was roasted to hell over it. They said, that is not even funny. That is disgusting. And he writes for CBS, Yahoo, The Examiner, something else, AXS. And I contacted all of them, and I said, please do not, dear CBS, AXS, Yahoo, don't ever allow this disgusting piece of shit to write for you ever again. That has to be one of the most horrible, insensitive jokes ever. He made an apology statement saying that he didn't know the extent of what happened. It was already clear that a bomb went off at a concert and people died. Everyone knew that. And he kept the joke up anyway, I guess until someone finally put some pressure on him. So I'm sorry. I just want to get that out of the way.
That's crazy.
Carry on.
Absolutely crazy. I just feel like it's just it's a sad thing, and I really didn't want to put too much into that. I kind of wanted to jump right into what I wanted to discuss, but my prayers are definitely out for those families. And a quick update for those who have heard in the previous episode, I was a friend of someone who became a child killer here in Atlanta, and I recently, this past weekend, actually hosted a memorial for Kente Williams is what the child's name was. It's a big international thing here. It was international now. Inside Edition is trying to cover it. All these news outlets and talk shows are trying to call to friends and people for interviews. It is truly a mess, but I did have that memorial this weekend at Lenox Park here in Atlanta, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Friends and family came out, and we celebrated Kente Williams, who's just a 10-year-old child who was murdered by his adoptive father 2 weeks ago. We celebrated him by releasing sky lanterns into the sky, and it was just a beautiful thing. Beautiful day.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was emotional, but at the same time, it was just a relief to know that he is resting in peace. He was buried on that Thursday in a cemetery in Mableton, Georgia, where it's sitting up on a hill, and from where his grave is, you can see the skyline of Atlanta. So that was definitely a beautiful thing that everyone came together to do this past weekend. I just want to thank everybody who is listening. I just thank you for participating and helping me make that possible. So now, here is my topic discussion. So, everyone wants to be bougie these days. They want to, be glam. They want to...
Bad and bougie?
Bad and bougie. They want to live up and keep up with the Jones, but they really don't have the means to keep up with the Jones. So I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can actually go out and you can keep up with the Jones and also be bougie on a budget. So if you have some of your fancy restaurants that you like to eat at and go to, and just to kind of, splurge and show off to your friends, there's options that you can actually go on to Groupon, and you can actually purchase coupons that will allow you to, go to different restaurants. And I'm going to tell you how you're being truly bougie on a budget. These coupon books, some of them range from anywhere between $60 to $100. And they allow you and a guest to go to 5-star restaurants in your local area and get one meal for you and a meal for your guest. So basically you're paying to eat at the restaurant for free, and it depends on the coupon book that you buy. So look that up on Groupon. I actually didn't know anything about it, but one of my sources told me that they've actually tried it, and here in Atlanta there's restaurants like STK and Canoe and Ray on the River.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I know many people who do. In D.C. there's Living Social, which I'm not sure if it's a national thing, but I get emails from them all the time. They're really amazing. I mean, I've seen like Restaurant.com coupon codes where you would pay $100 for $200. I mean, that's like free money. But I'm also all about optics, and I'm not a big coupon fan. It kind of reminds me of my grandmother too much.
Me either.
But I mean, it gets the job done. It is what it is, and yeah, I think it's a decent suggestion. I mean, personally, a lot of times what some of these coupons, I'm not a big expert on it, but I'm not a franchise restaurant eater really, so I tend to choose smaller boutique places. So I can pretty much always find something that's nice, that is of a reasonable price. Right. And then secondly, but you mentioned if someone wants to show out in front of friends, right, you're not going to show out in front of anybody and pull out a coupon, because then your cover has been blown.
Let Tony Tone tell you how to be slick with it. I'm going to tell you how to be slick with this coupon that you have, or you want to get this.
What, send them to the bathroom, send them to the car or something? What?
When you walk in and you find out who your waiter is, you say, oh, I want to tell you something. Can you walk over here with me? You let the waiter know that you have some coupons that your employer...
Have you actually done this before?
I've never have done this before, but I know people who have. So those people who... who've
done the little whispering thing? Or are you just making this up? I'm sorry to ask.
I'm not making this up. I swear to you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Someone is listening to the show right now, and they know who they are. You know who you are. They do this all the time, and they get away with it. So I've got their permission to share some of their greatest skills of how to get by, be bougie, and on a budget.
Still not bad.
There's just ways that you got to do it. You just got to go in. Don't let your friends know that you got this big old coupon book in your purse or in your wallet or in your back pocket or whatever. You got to give it to the waiter ahead of time. Tell them don't come over to the table and embarrass you. Be like, you can only select from that menu and not this one. You just gotta know how to do it when you are.
I was just being a prick. It doesn't have to be embarrassing. I just felt like going there. But no, I mean, I've looked over them. I mean, they're great coupons. I mean, hey, got my thumb of approval.
Right, and it's you want to be cute for the summer. There's so many things that's on Groupon that you can do if you necessarily have to be bougie on a budget. But let me tell you something. Being bougie does not mean that you need to drive the fanciest car, wear the fanciest clothes and shoes. It just means that you like good things, great things. You like quality merchandise, quality shoes,
And sometimes it's got to be a nice trade-off. Like, look at the album cover or the single cover for Single Bad and Bougie. She is sitting there in a bright red evening gown, sitting up with perfect posture, with her silverware, eating ramen noodles with a fork, just as just as prissy as possible. You know, it was a trade-off. It is what it is. You know, she was able to afford the gown, but it had to be ramen. So okay. Probably could have balanced it out a little bit better, but hey, you know, that's the definition of bad and bougie. Bam.
Right. So, I mean, when you get pockets that are deep, then you can go out and you can splurge without worry. But when your pockets are not so deep, but yet, you know, your credit score is damaged because you're spending more of your credit card, you know, balances or limits, and trying to keep up with Rachel when Rachel is making a certain amount of money and you're not, that is something that you don't want to continue to do, because it's only going to hurt you more when those bills come racking up and they're in your mailbox and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to pay these bills. Go on Groupon. Don't be afraid to be bougie on a budget. That's all I have to really say about that. Just, you know, there's some really exciting things that you can do for groups, that you can do for two, you can do for you on Groupon, being bougie, you know, during the summer. It's a great thing. And thanks to my friend who's listening, I'm not going to throw you out there. But you've been doing it now for 5 years, and you're doing it pretty good. Got a coupon for everything.
I mean, but even the celebrities do the same thing, and I want to use the Nene Leakes as an example. You know, the fake it till you make it type of situation. Remember, for her first season on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was living in a little 900, 1,200 square foot house while she was borrowing one of her husband's clients' homes. Like, they had a little situation, had a little agreement to allow her to record in the house while they really lived in this little tiny 2-bedroom townhouse. You know, that's the equivalent of the Groupon coupon book.
True.
So they do the same thing.
And that,
you know, so don't feel bad. And it eventually paid off for her. See, look where she is now.
Exactly. And the Range Rover that she was driving was borrowed from the car lot that she bought her son's first car from, and they were only using it for the show.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Did you not catch the episode when she was driving a Nissan Murano?
No. That's why she was trying to buy her son that little, that used Charger, and we were saying, really? Like, you can't do a little bit better than that? That was highly questionable. But I said, okay.
Pre-owned car lot is exactly where that Range Rover that they were driving around in that was borrowed to them. They had to basically promote that car lot in order to... Yes.
I'm always telling people that, I mean, so much of what happens on reality television is fake and staged, because all you have to do is just make an agreement with someone to promote them on the show. And lastly, before I shut up, the Salahis were a perfect example. They said every time they came into D.C., they stayed in the presidential suite of the Four Seasons. There is no way that anyone just, you stayed out late for drinks, you don't want to go home, you're going to pay $15,000 for a room for the night. No one does such a thing. No one. And I know for an industry fact, I've discussed with people the bidding process for people to have that room, that is not true. Dignitaries stayed in that damn room. They just had an agreement with the hotel to shoot there. It is what it is. It was a promotion of the room. It was actually a new room, and it had just been created, literally maybe 2 years before. It was television promotion. I'm sorry, I got a little too excited for that.
And that is why I wanted to talk about being bougie on a budget.
And notice they did all that wonderful, glorious, bougie stuff, but no one ever saw where they lived.
Exactly. I
Catch
think
it.
those reality shows that do that, I think that is so freaking funny, where you're riding, I want to see your apartment. Where do you live? And then you can't ever see where they live. Like, there's this reality show that I've been watching. It's called Cutting It. cutting it in the ATL or something like that. And it's got all these hairstyles on there. They're all so full of drama. One's trying to make the other one go out of business. The other one is being called a dog and he's a trainer. And one is just an over-the-top African lady named Ushia. And then there's another one who is named Lakenya. They call her the pushover because she's just kind of flip-floppy is what they call her. But at the end of the day, all of them are broke. One of them lives in a decent house. The other one, you don't ever see her house. And she drives like a 2008 Honda Accord.
Clearly not a high-budget show, I would say.
So I was like, I said, hold up, this is season 2. What in the hell? I was like, I could see this in season 1. But in season 2, we driving around a 2008 Honda Accords. The one main character
must not be making a whole lot from the show, apparently.
She owns that $50 weave, walk-in weave place here in Atlanta. Her name is Maya Sly. They are constantly trying to bring this poor lady down and make her go out of business because they said that she's a fake and a fraud and all this stuff. So
Atlanta is definitely known for the television media market. So I guess with all these shows, they all can't be making a whole bunch of money, right?
Well, I mean, you would think that after
everybody can't be A-list.
The ratings must have been good. They should have came back with some type of budget or some type of marketing plan to have them all driving nice cars or whatever. But they looking kind of broke. I don't think they even have a budget for a makeup team because it looks like some of them are putting their own makeup on. That's how low budget the show is. It's very low budget, and they all have no storyline. All they do is argue with each other, and they keep saying, we're going to make money. And they're talking about this hair product, and when you Google, you can't find this shit anywhere. I'm just like,
oh, no.
This is a lot of drama. I was like, y'all are not cutting it in the ATL. You're being fools in the ATL. So, yeah, it's just, it is what it is. But anyways, I'm closing the topic to being bougie on a budget. Basically, I just wanted to say, let you all know that are listening who think that you got it, but you really don't. Stop spending all your hard-earned dollar and go on Groupon.com and check them out. And no, Groupon is not paying me to promote or market them, but they will when I mention their name next time. So moving on to the next.
But if you would like to.
Right, go ahead, Groupon.
We are open to it.
Open to
promotions sponsored by VM3 Media over here. Carry on.
Definitely. Send it on. We would love it. But moving along. So this is my last and final topic here that I would talk about tonight. This one is basically, it's going to make you think. It's going to make the individuals that are listening right now think, and it's going to probably make us think. When it comes to dating, we date because of attraction. We date because someone looks good to us, and we are attracted to them physically, mentally, and sexually. But do we date these days based on just looks? What if we meet someone who is not that attractive, we're not as sexually attracted to them, however, that person's well established. They have money, and I mean loads of money. They live comfortably. You don't have to ever worry for anything being with this person, and they treat you like you are gold, like everything on the earth. Do you?
In other words, you're talking about Tamar Braxton. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Someone had just asked me about her. They said, "What?" Someone said, "What does she see in him?" I try not to be judgmental. That was the first person that came to mind.
Oh my God.
Right? Like, she was with this man that's like 5 times her size, and then he had the nerve to cheat. How did that happen?
I have no clue. I don't have no clue. I just don't know.
Fix it, Jesus.
Fix it, yes.
I just busted out laughing. I don't know where I've been. Nicki Minaj apparently has some song where she says, fix it, Jesus, and I just heard it and busted out laughing a couple of days ago. Yeah, yes, Nicki, fix it, Jesus.
The question is,
take the wheel and drive fast.
Would you date someone that's not that attractive? Would you? If they were a multimillionaire, they had millions of dollars in the bank, and they loved you from head to toe, all your perfections and imperfections, but yet the one thing about them is that they were not that attractive, not attractive at all, but they treat you so good. Would you lower your standards of what you are accustomed to be with someone that will treat you like gold until the day you die? And
I've never been a gold digger. I never have. I am not a person who could be bought. That's just not going to happen. I think that I've been in a situation, or I could have been in that type of scenario, but no. I've always made sure that. I mean, I always consider myself to be an independent person,
right.
But no, nope. Can't say the thoughts never crossed my mind. I work very hard, but I absolutely am not going to be I'm not going to have myself in the position of being controlled by another person. That's just not going to happen. I was just talking about the other day, being in my house and working, working from home, occasionally being on the phone yelling at people. And I said, I know that people don't like it, but I live alone. I work from home. And I will raise my voice to whoever the hell I want to because I can.
The boss in charge.
Absolutely, and that is a privilege of being said boss. Many people said, why don't you? I had a close colleague was talking about, you need to have a rich boyfriend or something. I've heard that multiple times. Or why don't you go after someone with money? Because that's not me, and that's not going to happen.
But this is not talking. It's not talking about just being taken care of and spoiled and then controlled. This is being treated right, being treated better than you've ever been treated before, and you just happen to be lucky and meet someone who is very rich but also a great partner, a great soulmate, and they are ready to take care of you, from head to toe. But yet, the one thing that could be the barrier between the two is that they're not as attractive. They don't have that look that you desire.
Looks are subjective. Looks are subjective, and you keep saying take care of head to toe. That can mean a lot of things too.
Right.
I
would answer the question. Yes, I would date someone that looks that way, that's not that attractive, because if you got that much money, there is a great plastic surgeon down the street. We could always do some upgrades. So a face that is not that attractive is not forever. It's not permanent. It can be changed. But a person who treats you the correct way, who treats you good, respect you, that's something that we all desire to have. So I want my happiness before I want to have good looks, right? I mean, but then, one would say, well,
you kept saying head to, look, I haven't gotten past this statement about the head to toe. I mean, if the head to toe part is done right, then maybe exceptions could be made. Let's talk about it.
I mean, you know what it's saying when they say you take care of someone from head to toe. It just means that you are going.
I know the saying, and I know what the saying means to me. I'm just saying. I wasn't supposed to go there. what's supposed to happen.
Oops.
Anyway.
X-rated. No.
Look, I did I'm going to shut up. I did a Facebook Live. I did a Q&A. I don't know what happened. Like, I asked someone to help give me a set of questions to address so I could have some guidelines so I don't go stray off. And he didn't really help with it, so I didn't really have enough questions, so I ran out of questions. And he was saying to talk about your personal life, and I've always been one who has been very private. And I don't know what happened. I went off into the subject of dating, and I think that it went a little adult, and I had to go delete the show the next day, because then people were talking about the show, and then I ended up having to start roasting people and how people who were talking about me, but your husband whoops your ass, so don't worry about my don't worry about me talking about my dating life when your husband blacks your eye for 6 hours every night that you have to compound concealer on for the next day. Talk about that.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that's why I have problems with these shows. It's just my mouth. It's hard to keep it under control.
It is. Look, this is the cut. So, I mean, no one said it had to be, I don't think that we kind of went in the first episode talking shit, so don't stop now.
So look, okay, I'm always the one who is the offender of keeping time with this show. So I know that you have somewhere to go now, so I'm going to, if you don't mind, start to wrap up. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, it's all right with me. I had a lot of fun, as I always do.
Likewise. So everyone, this was another episode of #The Cut with myself, Giovanni Busto of Popglitz.com, and Anthony Smith. I can be found on Twitter at Vonnie Media Mogul, on Facebook, Giovanni Busto, which, by the way, I've been suspended yet again. This is now going on. I would have had a total of 120 days of Facebook suspension since before Christmas. How? How is that even possible? But whatever. Do fix it, Jesus. And we're on Facebook for The Cut. Oh, yeah, and last episode, Anthony called off some long, ridiculous prison number, jail ID number, as the website URL, or the fan page URL. I'm sorry, I forgot to change it. I promise. I will, as I promised to do many other things, such as upload the show on time. But yeah, if you were to search for The Cut and see, what is our profile picture? Isn't it like letters, right? Isn't it like?
It's like hashtag the cut.
There's like a red background, and I think it says The Cut with Giovanni Busto and Anthony Smith, I think, right?
Yeah. And then it has our little thing all done up and all fancy.
And our beautiful faces are on the front of popglitz.com, so therefore it's a little bit easier to get to. I think I have a link to the fan page there as well as both of our social media pages. Until next week, this has been The Cut. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Good night.